Here's yours truly, Rama screen. Right now it's Monday morning here around 8:30 a.m. California time. I'll be going to work later today, and I'm not posting any new video reviews or video interviews today, or maybe one or something. But anyway, my point is because I'm not gonna be posting a lot of new stuff today, and because I'll be busy working, I figured I'd give you this video instead, which is my reaction to Jonathan Major's interview that happened earlier this morning on ABC News, Good Morning America. I have a few thoughts about this. Now, mind you, uh, to give you a bit of context about myself, I myself am currently in a relationship, and we are getting married later this year. Um, so I'm not an expert on things about domestic abuse or like lovers quarrels, and I'm not a TikTok influencer about relationship like my friend Rudy is. But I do have a few thoughts about what I just saw right now regarding Jonathan Major's interview, about some of the things that he says in this interview that kind of like it, not really a red flag. It's more like a light bulb, like whoop. Oh, that's very telling. That's very revealing when he said that. Anyway, so I can't play the interview here, obviously, because of copyright reasons. But let's break it down. He has been convicted guilty, right, in the court of law for harassment and other charges. So his girlfriend, white girlfriend Grace Jabari, why I said white, that's gonna be important later on. um, so in this interview, they broke down what happened, and then Jonathan Majors kind of like tried to refute it, gave his side of the argument, and the interviewer said, "Hey, Grace Jabari, your girlfriend, um, got cuts and bruises and all this stuff," and they show the pictures, they show the images on the interview. Um, did you cause that? And he said, "No, I did not." Then how did those injuries happen? How did those injuries come about? And he said, "I wish to God I knew. I wish I don't know." Basically, he said, "Really?" That kind of like, you don't know how those injuries happen. And they showed the footage too, the CCTV footage of them in the car, and of her chasing him down the street, and you can tell that there's some sort of a commotion, some sort of a physical conflict, physical contact there happening. And you've seen the footage as well many times, as much as I did. So there's got to be, my guess is, and I'm speculating here, okay, this is my theory. When he said, "I wish to God I knew," or I don't know how those injuries come about, it's probably because, and I'm not defending him, I'm not trying to condone what he did. My guess is that it's all happening so fast that it's probably a blur by now. Um, because it looked like from the CCTV footage that the conflict happened really fast between what happened in the car as they got out, and as she's chasing him down the street. It was like, it was really really fast. So maybe he did not intentionally hurt her, but she got hurt. That's the fact. So maybe during that whole commotion, he did something to her, but it happened so fast. Now he can't remember it anymore. But it did happen to her. There's evidence, and he got hurt as well. He's got scratches and everything. So it seems like it's a very equal. It's not just him hurting her, but she's hurting. She fought back as well, or she pushed back. It seemed like that, and that I'm speculating based on the footage that the interview gave. Um, yeah, he could have said that. He could have said that, man. He could have said that. And I'm getting ahead of myself here. If you ask, "Hey Rama, what do you think? Do you think that it was wise that for him to give this interview in the first place?" You know what? If somebody calls this an apology tour or whatever it is, I would believe them. I think this is more about um, him trying to do damage control because obviously his reputation is already broken. He got fired by Marvel Studios, so he's just doing some damage controls to hopefully maybe someday in the future he might get at least you know gigs at indie circuit, independent film gigs, or like Gina Carano. Remember Gina Carano? He got fired by from Star Wars. Now she's doing movies for like Daily Wire or something like that that nobody watches. But at least she's doing something. She's doing some red box movies now. Uh, Maybe that's the plan here. He Jonathan Majors is just doing some damage control so that he won't. Hopefully, maybe in his mind, he's thinking like it's better than nothing. Doing this interview is better than nothing. Maybe something will come out of this eventually someday regarding my career as an actor. Because at the moment he's pretty much done. He's pretty much toxic. Nobody or no studios in Hollywood want to touch him. So yeah, is it wise? I don't know if it's wise that he did this interview, but I think in his mind, it's like I got to do something. Nothing, doing nothing would be worse for me. That's probably his thinking, his line of thinking. If I were in his shoes, though, I'd probably just go away. If I were in his shoes, I probably wouldn't do this interview at all. I would probably just like, you know, get in a hole somewhere till everything dies down, and then with the money that I've made since from Marvel stuff, Jonathan Majors is rich, guys. He's a millionaire, so he's gonna be okay. uh, he's not gonna be he's not in the poorhouse. He's not in a doghouse. He's not like begging for money. He's got lots of cash from all those Marvel gigs, so he's gonna be just fine. You don't have to be worried about it. But if I were him, I would invest that money eventually after I get back from my solitary or whatever until everything dies down. After everything dies down, I would try to make a comeback using my own money, making my own projects, little stuff, little gigs, and make my comeback as an actor. It may not be studio gigs, but that's what I would do. But back to the interview. So yeah, when he said, I wish I knew what happened, how those injuries come about, I think it happened so fast that he couldn't remember it. And that is a valid reason to have, I think, in my opinion, because those footage is like really fast. Now, why I said white woman, Grace Jabari, is because if you saw the Cat Williams video with Club Shay Shay, you have got the scene, right? That you've probably already seen the Cat Williams comment on this, and he said like, "Hey, I don't mess with white women. Not that I hate white women, but you saw what happened to Jonathan Majors, man." I'd be lying to you if I said I'm not scared of white women, man. They'd be like, they'll pull the rug out from underneath you, and whatever the word that he said, Cat Williams. Um, it's a joke, obviously. What Cat Williams said, it's a racial joke. I think this kind of thing can happen, whatever your skin color may be. Mm, but what triggered Grace Jabari is that text that she saw Jonathan Majors got from another woman saying, "I can't wait to kiss you. I'm missing you. I want to kiss you," something along those lines. So yeah, that's another red flag, man. If what are you doing, man? If you're in a relationship with somebody, um, I don't care if that text is from Megan Good, which is another beautiful woman, but like, come on, that kind of stuff would get your girl angry. I have a girlfriend, and she wants to know every little thing about my life. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if once we get married, she'll be like checking my cell phone, when I'm in the shower or something to make sure that I know it's not necessarily relationship experts will say like, "Whoa, there's no trust in that." That's not cool. Where's the trust? Yeah, but as President Obama would say, trust but verify. um, I don't think it's a nice habit to be snooping on your spouse's phone. But people do that. People do that, especially insecure people. Insecure girlfriends or insecure boyfriends do that. So what are you doing, man? What are you doing? But I get it though. These Hollywood stars, man, they just can't get enough. They're not. They don't. They're never enough with just one partner. They just or they get bored easily. Like I said many times, no marriages last in Hollywood. Marriages don't last in Hollywood, or relationships for that matter. Jonathan is not married to was not married to Grace Jabari. They like to sleep around. And when they hit the success that Jonathan Majors hit, because he was successful, he was on top of the world. He was Kang, man. He was Kang the Conqueror. You know what I'm saying? He's playing the villain in a big studio where the villain would have multiple arcs, multiple movies. He was raking it. And so when you have that much power and influence and resources, you think that you can just get anybody you want. You're like, I don't need to get just one girlfriend. I can cheat on her. Like I'm bored of her. Like so so yeah, I'm just saying like again, I'm not a relationship guru, but if you reach that point in life point of success in life, be careful, because that kind of mindset of, ooh, I can do anything I want will sip in through your head and corrupt you. And eventually your spouse or your partner, your girl, will find out. Or Dominic says ordinary Joes are lucky. Yeah, we don't sleep around because we don't get the luxury. That's right, Dominic. We don't get the luxury of that power and influence and resources to just pick anybody, right? So when somebody said yes to us, we're so grateful to that person. I get you, Dominic. I get you. And I'm in that position myself. I'm a broke ass guy. You know, I'm surprised that my girlfriend even liked me. So anyway, what else? Oh, so I know this kind of case is kind of reminds me of Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp. It divides people, right? I'm team Amber Heard. I'm team Johnny Depp. Now it's like I'm team Grace Jabari. I'm team Jonathan Majors. And it gets further complicated because my Jonathan Majors is black and Grace Jabari is white. So there's racial component in there as well that people like to tear. Like Jonathan Majors said in this interview, when she's chasing him down the street, and he said, "Imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if I was chasing her down the street, I would have gotten shot. A black man chasing down a white woman. You could say that that argument is a cop out, a deflection, using race card to deflect from your responsibility, to deflect from what you did. You can say that, valid. But at the same time, that argument is also kind of valid. You can't argue that we're not living in that world because we are. We do live in that world where if a black man chases a white woman down the street, something bad is gonna happen to that black man, if especially if the cops are involved. Somebody like Derek Chauvin is involved. So so yes, it's a race card deflection, but there's some truth to it as well. It's kind of like double edged there. So that's what further complicates this issue compared to Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, who are both white, and rich, both are rich. So that's what Jonathan Major said. And yeah, I get it. I totally get it. It's a race card deflection, but I also get it. Another thing that cracks me up in this interview, he said, and this, you've heard this before. There's a taping, or not taping. I'm sorry. There's an audio recording of him asking Grace Jabari to be more like Michelle Obama, to be more like Coretta Scott King, because he said in this tape, he said, "I'm a great man. I'm a great man. I need a great woman behind me. If you can't keep up, man, something along those lines." That cracked me up, dude. Like, okay, okay, okay. Again, I'm not a relationship guru. Um, you can probably talk to my friend Rudy about that more. Follow him on TikTok. He's a relationship guru. But dang, dude, why on earth would you put that expectation on your girlfriend or on your boyfriend? Who, if you're a woman watching this, don't be like. I want you to be like more like President Obama. Okay, why can't you be more like Martin Luther King? Don't do that. Don't do that to your partner. Don't expect them to rise up to a pedestal that they can't reach. I mean, come on. I get having self-confidence. There's nothing wrong with, for example, looking in the mirror every day in the morning saying, "You are awesome." You know, like like trying to hype up yourself, to motivate yourself. You look in the mirror, it's like, "You are a great man. You deserve great things." I'm cool, I'm smart. It's okay. It's okay to do that. I do that sometimes, because the world try to bring me down every single time. So it's like I gotta keep motivating myself, to believe in myself. Nobody's gonna believe in me. I gotta believe in myself. So there's nothing wrong with Jonathan Major saying, "I'm a great man." Like Muhammad Ali, like, "I'm a great man. I'm the best. I'm the greatest." Um, but yeah, I think to expect your partner to like, "Hey, if you can't keep up, man," or like, "Hey, because I'm great, you got to be great too." Like, wow, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of burden for her or him to carry. Um, and and it defeats the whole meaning of loving somebody for who they are. You know, we're supposed to love somebody for who they are, not what they could potentially be. You know, at least that's my belief. I don't know if that's your belief. My principle is, if I love somebody, I gotta love them for who they are, because I want them to reciprocate. I want them to love me for me. You know, um, so for him to say like, "Oh, you gotta be like Michelle Obama, you gotta be like Coretta Scott King," that's, oh my God, the first lady, Coretta Scott King, MLK's wife. That's what you want her to become like? Oh, Jesus. Oh my goodness. That's not cool. At least in my book, it's not cool. Um, so and that's a red flag too. You could tell that is very telling. That is very revealing. When he said that, then that means they're not compatible. You know, why stay with a guy like that? Like, maybe Megan Good, who Jonathan Majors is with right now, maybe she is more like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. Maybe, there you go. Maybe, you know maybe this could have been avoided. This whole thing, the car incident, the chasing down the street, could have been avoided if she had left him. If he had just, or if he had just left her, because she's not like Michelle Obama, or she's not like, Coretta Scott King. Um, but now what's done is done. What happened has happened. He has been convicted guilty of harassment and other charges, and he's gonna spend. I don't know when the sentencing is gonna be. Maybe soon, but because the convicted guilty happened last month. But he can go into prison up to about a year, I hear. Um, so yeah, the firing from Marvel Studios is justified because, one, Jonathan Major's brand is toxic now. You don't want to work with a toxic brand. I get it. Number two, you can't work with somebody who's in prison or who's gonna be in prison. So, people can be like, why Marvel? Why'd you fire him? That's not right. That's not right. Hire him back. Well, he's gonna go to prison, guys. He can't work on the set of Kang the Dynasty, whatever movie is the title is, if he's in prison. There's no way. And Marvel's not gonna like push that schedule back. So. Um, we don't know if Kang's gonna get recast. The last rumor I hear is that Marvel might be interested in Coleman Domingo, who starred in The Color Purple, and Rustin. So we'll see if that happens. Another last point is that it's interesting that this interview today was conducted by ABC, which is owned by Disney, and Disney owns Marvel Studios. People point that out as if they're pointing out hypocrisy, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, dude, it's just business. When it comes down to it, the reason why they fire majors is because he's toxic for their business. They want to keep making money, and just like this interview, it's the ratings, the views, right? It's strike it while it's hot, strike the iron while it's hot. What we'll get Jonathan Majors exclusive first interview. We get it. So yes, it's hypocrisy, but at the same time, when it comes down to it, it's all about the Benjamins, bro. It's all about the views, the ratings with these people. They don't care. It's like, oh yeah, we're the same parent company that fired you. Now we want to interview you because it's gonna get ratings. It's gonna be talked about. So, you know, come on, come on. Let's keep it real. That's what it comes down to with Hollywood. It all comes down to this. So so yeah, those are my thoughts about this interview. Jonathan Major's first exclusive interview with ABC News uh, after his guilty conviction. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. And thank you, Dominic, for chatting in. Let's rock this.